It's February 2nd, 2026, and the digital dream of infinite AI has just slammed headfirst into a very real, very solid physical wall. You know, for years we've been absolutely mesmerized by AI that can conjure up entire worlds from just a few words. But today, the magic show is over. We're about to find out why the future of AI has less to do with elegant code and everything to do with concretes, copper, and cold hard cash.
The bill for this AI revolution, it has finally come due. And the price tag is a jaw-dropping $50 billion. That's the mountain of cash that Oracle, one of the quiet giants behind the cloud, is scrambling to raise in just 1 year. And get this, it's not for some flashy new AI model. Nope, this is a desperate gamble just to keep the lights on.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? That $50 billion isn't some forward-looking investment. It's a frantic, debt-fueled payment for a revolution that's already here, and it is consuming way more power than anybody, and I mean anybody, ever planned for.
So back on February 2nd, 2026, Oracle's announcement sent absolute shockwaves through the markets. This is what we're calling the reckoning. Because while we were all busy playing with the latest chatbots, the entire tech industry was quietly speeding towards a wall, a physical barrier that you can't just fix by throwing more money at it.
Now you have to understand, this isn't just a simple expansion. Oracle is raising this cash because its biggest customers, we're talking the heavy hitters, OpenAI, Meta, xAI, even NVIDIA, are literally physically running out of power and space. They need these new inference-first data centers, which are built to handle the insane energy demands of running AI models 24/7, and they need them like yesterday. But investors? They're terrified. The market reaction was just brutal, wiping out $460 billion in value as Oracle stock completely cratered.
And this right here, this captures the new reality perfectly. The fight for AI dominance isn't happening in the world of software anymore. It has moved to the physical world. It's a war for electrical transformers, for water rights, and for raw, brute force electricity. The software war is over, my friends. The physical war is just getting started.
So what exactly is this physical wall? Well, at its core, it's a simple and kind of brutal truth. You just can't run the digital future on a 50-year-old analog power grid. The aging electrical infrastructure here in the US has become the single biggest roadblock holding back AI's progress.
Okay, check this out. This is the heart of the problem. A normal data center rack, the kind that's powered the internet for 20 years, uses maybe 5 to 15 kilowatts of power. But a rack built for AI, we're talking over 100 kilowatts. That is a colossal leap in power density. And our grid? Well, it just wasn't built for that kind of punishment.
And hey, if you think this is just a problem for some billionaires in Silicon Valley, think again. This is starting to hit regular people right in the wallet. In communities near some of these huge new data centers, wholesale electricity costs have skyrocketed by as much as 267%. All of a sudden, the cost of running an AI chatbot is showing up on your monthly electricity bill.
You know, this crisis didn't just pop up overnight. Just a few years ago, everyone in the industry saw this as a future problem, something they could fix with better software or whatever. But then 2025 hit and local grids started to buckle. Now in 2026, it's a full-on structural crisis. If you want to build a new data center today, you might have to wait more than 3 years just to get plugged into the grid. In the tech world, that's an eternity.
This map shows you the front lines of this new power war. I mean, just look at the unbelievable concentration of demand. Virginia is sucking down almost 34 terawatt hours of power just for data centers. To put that in perspective for you, that is more than the entire country of Switzerland uses in a year. And Texas is right behind. These aren't just states with a lot of server farms anymore. These are places where the entire energy map is being redrawn by AI.
So how are the biggest companies in the world dealing with this? Well, it turns out they're splitting into two very different camps. In one corner, you've got Oracle, making this huge, high-debt bet. And in the other corner, you have Microsoft, playing a much smarter, more political game.
First, let's look at Oracle's play. The company is already swimming in about $95 billion of debt, and now they want to add another $50 billion on top of that. This is an absolutely massive gamble. It's so risky, in fact, that the big credit agencies are warning that Oracle's debt could get downgraded to junk status. That would make it even more expensive for them to borrow money down the road.
Now, Microsoft is taking a completely different path. They figured out that an angry crowd at a town hall meeting can be a bigger threat than a bad day on the stock market. So they've come up with what they call a pay our way plan. They're actually going to communities and offering to pay for grid upgrades themselves. They're even turning down the usual tax breaks. It's basically a massive charm offensive to win people over before they start protesting.
This quote right here from Microsoft's president, Brad Smith, it's a huge deal. I mean, think about it. For a top executive at a massive tech company to say out loud that they should be paying more, not less, that's a complete 180 from how this industry has worked for decades. It just shows you how genuinely terrified they are of a public backlash. And let's be crystal clear. This is not just an Oracle or a Microsoft problem. The entire industry is on an unprecedented spending spree. This chart shows capital spending from the big tech companies is set to blow past $600 billion in 2026. That is more than the entire gross domestic product of a country like Sweden. It's an absolute scramble for physical stuff.
Okay, so where is all this headed? What's the end game here? Because I think what we're seeing is something much bigger than just a power crisis. We are witnessing a fundamental change in what these companies even are.
Let's just state this plainly. We are seeing the birth of a new utility class. The line that used to separate a tech company from an energy company is completely dissolving right before our eyes. And they are all following the exact same playbook to get there. It starts simple. They sign these gigantic energy deals. Then, they start building their own power plants right on site. The next step, and this is the really controversial one, is to fund their own nuclear reactors. And the ultimate goal, the holy grail, to become islanded, to completely disconnect from the public grid and become their own private utility.
And this is the key piece of technology that could make it all happen: small modular reactors, or SMRs. Now, when you hear nuclear reactor, you're probably picturing some giant, sprawling power plant, but SMRs are a totally different animal. They're way smaller, you can build them in a factory, and you can scale them up as you need more power. Tech companies are pouring billions into developing these things, aiming to have their own private nuclear power source sitting right next to their data centers.
And that leads us to the biggest, most important question of all. This physical wall isn't just a technical challenge. It's forcing a massive shift in who controls our most vital resources. As we hand the keys to our energy and water infrastructure over to these new tech utility giants, we really have to ask ourselves, when the lights go out, who are you going to call? Who holds them accountable? The reckoning is here, and we're all going to have to live with the consequences.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.